Hello, a very good afternoon, everyone. Today, the topic that I have chosen for all of you is on women. Well, I had always been asked that, ma'am, is it the case that Meghalaya, the state that I hail from, I'm born and brought up in Meghalaya, Shillong, is actually matrilineal? And if it is so, is it only in practice or in theory, or is it both? To start on with, when we talk about feminism, we know that feminine energy is behind each and every activity. And if there is the emergence of feminine energy, then we have to mention about women or Stree. Now let us concentrate on this very word Stree. This word Stree is a Sanskrit term and it is derived with a combination of three words: Sattvika, Tamasika, and Rajasika. So the concept of Stree itself means that it is a combination of Sattvika guna. These are popularly known as the three guna: Sattvika, Tamasika, and Rajasika. Sattvika is that which is pious, which is positive, affirmative, light, which is auspicious, and its color is white. Tamasika is the contradiction of Sattvika, and it stands for anything which is heavy, which is contraction, which is cold, which is not at all light. Its color is black. It stands for malefic. If Sattvika stands for benefic, Tamasika stands for malefic. In between Tamasika and Rajasika stands the third guna called Rajasika. Now, what is Rajasika? The very meaning of Rajasika is an activator, or someone who activates his or her choice. So we have the choice of either going towards a path of Sattvika or going towards a path of Tamasika. So actually, Stree is a combination of Sattvika, pious. She can be as pious as Sati Savitri. Tamasika, she can be as cold-hearted, or she can be as ferocious as Durga or Kali. And Rajasika is the choice given to all of us, whether we would like to go and be a Sati Savitri or when provoked to be a Kali. So basically Tamasika and Satvika are the guna which are embedded in the soul of a Stree. So Stree is not only pious and nice and happy and welcoming. She, as much as she can be Ma Annapurna, she also can be Kalima, who sucks blood. So as much as she can be the nourisher, as much as she can be the giver, she can also be the taker. That is the meaning of Stree. Now, if you are familiar with the geographical pattern of Northeast, you must be knowing that Assam, there are 8 states, not 7. 7 sisters and 1 younger brother, Sikkim. Sikkim was previously a union territory and now it has been a part and parcel of Northeast. So we have 7 sisters and 1 younger brother, Sikkim. If you're familiar with the terrain of Northeast, you would understand that most of the states carved out of Assam because for their peculiar demands, because for their unique features, because for their demand for unique identities. So most of the states except Manipur, except Sikkim of course, except Tripura, almost all the other states of Northeast were a part and parcel of Assam. Manipur and Tripura being the only exception because these two were the two kingly kingdoms, and the part of their royalty somehow still continues today. So be it Nagaland, be it Mizoram, Mizoram was called as Lushai Hills, Nagaland Patkai Hills, Arunachal Pradesh, and so on, were all a part and parcel of Assam, including Meghalaya. So when we have to understand about a feature or a characteristic of a particular state, we need to go back to her history, because then the entire narrative makes much more sense. Meghalaya was a part and parcel of Assam till the 1970s. I think in 1976 it attained statehood. So it is interesting that in Meghalaya, matrilineality, or the power of Sri Shakti emerged because they claim that Kamakhya, if you know about Kamakhya Devi is also known as the bleeding goddess. Why bleeding goddess? She is known as the bleeding goddess because, as the mythology says, she bleeds once a year during the month of June, just before monsoon or after monsoon or during monsoon. That's the phase, the monsoon time. And it's considered to be a very strong tamasic peeth, a Shakti peeth. Well, going a little bit back about Kamakhya Devi, who is Kamakhya Devi then? Yes, she's a bleeding goddess, I have just said. But then, all women bleeds once a month, which is very natural, which is very periodical, which is very welcoming. So what is it so special about goddess Kamakhya Devi? Again, as per the mythology, Sati, the then wife of Shiva, had gate crashed the ceremonial function that was happening at her father Daksha's palace. She goes uninvited and arrives unannounced because Daksh was ashamed of his son-in-law Shiva, who is not in any way a quote-unquote civil. He is a wild soul with weird things or weird entities as his partners, as his friends. So everyone were invited except Sati. Sati gate crashes the family ceremony and pleads, asks, prays to her father that why was she left behind. To this, King Daksh says it is so because she that has married has chosen Shiva is now his, and she also is thus entitled as quote-unquote wild. Hearing such intense pejorative remarks on her husband, she self-immolates herself. So when Shiva is informed about this bit of shocking news, he starts his Tandav Nritta, the dance of destruction, with the corpse of Sati furled around his neck. And the three worlds starts fearing as to what would be the situation be then, as he is on a rampage now. He is out there to destroy. He is in intense fear of, more than fear, the intense fears of the earthlings, the other devtas, the other asuras, the three longs. Shiva dances this with intense sadness, intense pain of losing his beloved. To this, Vishnu chips in and thinks that it is about time the Tandav Nritta ought to stop, and he, with his Sudarshan Chakra, manages to dissociate the corpse of Sati from Shiva, and the Sudarshan Chakra pieces the corpse of Sati into 52 parts. All these 52 parts fell in various places around the earth, and those parts eventually came to be known as the Shakti Peeth, very powerful beat. The vagina or the uterus of Sati fell in the Nilachal hills of Assam. That is where goddess Kamakhya came in place. So you can understand, you should understand the correlation here. Uterus, bleeding, so she's known as bleeding goddess. Just to add as a footnote here, after the separation of the corpse from Shiva, Shiva goes into deep meditation, and everyone is alarmed seeing Shiva meditating. So they send Kama Deva. Now, who is Kama Deva? Kama Deva is the god of sensual pleasure. So they sent Kama Deva to ignite the dead emotions of love in Shiva. Shiva keeps meditating. Kama Deva, with his string and bow, targets and strike the Cupid arrow, and Shiva just opens his third eye, Trinayan, and ashes down Kama Deva to ash. Please understand, Kama Deva belonged to the progeny of Bhrigu, and they had the Sanjeevani Vidya, the same Sanjeevani Bhuti which was used to make Lakshman hail during the epic fight of Ram and Lakshmana, Ram, Lakshmana and Ravana. So Kamadev is ashed down, and because for the blessing of Sanjeevani Bhuti, thanks to Bhrigu, he again regains his form. And the place where Kamadev regains his form is called as Rupa Kama, Kama Rup. So Pragjyotishpur was then, Assam was known as Pragjyotishpur then, and after this episode came to be known as Kamrup. Going ahead, its connection. Why am I saying this narrative? I'm saying this narrative to show whatever the connection exists with Meghalaya and Kamakhya Devi. Now, Khasi, Garo, and Jantia are the three major tribes of Meghalaya. It is a matrilineal society. Again, to understand the history or the characteristic feature of any state, as much as we need to understand the history, we should also try to understand the essence of that state. So, in Khasi, I'm going to introduce you to a little bit of Khasi, which is a language of Meghalaya. In Khasi, Ka stands for she, Mai stands for ma, mother, and Ha is the verb that stands for birth. So the Khasis say that Ka plus Mai plus Ka is actually Kamakhya. They owe their allegiance to Kamakhya. They owe their genesis to Kamakhya. So they claim that Kamakhya is actually theirs, but because for the boundary division during Meghalaya as an independent state, Kamakhya came under the domain of Assam Well, I'm not interested in the political part, but I'm interested in the mythological part. So for them, she, goddess, it has to be goddess. May, mother. Who is a mother? Someone who gives birth. It is not a Kanya Kumari. It's not a Kumari. It's a mother, May. And Ka, who gives birth. So it is said that in Kamakhya Devi, people who goes and worships for, uh, you know, uh, fertile womb is often blessed. So the Khasis wanted to continue with this tradition, and they wanted to give up, or rather they wanted to focus on this particular philosophy of giving the central figure of women as the most important in the state. So Ka, or female, is the most important figure in Meghalaya. So, well, it is the woman who is central. The rest of the characters revolved around her. Well, whether it is in theory only matrilineal or even in practice, that deserves a second recording. But today, my emphasis has been to narrate why Meghalaya is matrilineal. I hope it was clear. If there are comments, queries, please do not hesitate to ask me. Thank you so much.